Oh, I gotta get upwind of it. It stinks. Ooh. I see what it is. It smells so nasty. Now that's life and death in the desert. Stuff just dies and rots. Well, that's pretty gross. This water is disgusting. This water's not gonna do me any good at all. Not if I wanna actually drink it and live.
Australia. It's the only nation to occupy an entire continent. It's the most flat and the second driest place on the planet. And even though it has rainforests, snowfields, and lush garden ecosystems, it's undeniably known best for its deserts. Also called the Outback.
Sport aircraft flying has become hugely popular all around the world. Small wonder it's fantastic up here. You've got a bird's eye view of everything wild and natural. Mountains, valleys, forests, and the deserts. But each year, people get lost down there, and they're forced to survive amongst the wallaby and the kangaroo. And that'll be my challenge. I'll fly this plane till it runs out of gas and make an emergency landing on someplace flat. And I'll have to survive without food, very little water or gear, no camera crew, alone in the Australian Outback.
The Australian Outback has been high on my list as a place of challenge and mystique, and flying my own ultralight is the most exciting way to get out into the middle of it all. Most anything can suffice as an emergency airstrip when it's needed. Highways, roads, even sod farms or any flat strip of land that looks free of debris. There are a number of out-of-service strips attached to the parks out here. They can be rough, but not so rough that I can't land on them.
First things first, gotta get this thing tied down and secured for the night. When the wind starts coming in, you could ruin a plane that way if you don't tie it down. You know, it's a simple little axe like this that gets you in the most trouble. All I'm doing right now is coming in here to tie off the plane. Fact is, that's when you reach down into a hole somewhere and there's a king brown snake laying there, ready to bite you. All right, well, the plane's nice and secure now. I actually landed it on an old airstrip. It's windy and it's cool. It's been dropping down to, actually got down to 2 degrees Celsius just the other week here. So it can get quite cold in the desert, while at the same time it can get up to 45 degrees in the middle of the day. I've got a hatchet, no food, very little water, about a day and a half worth of water, and 1 paper match and a small pot to boil water in. Oh, I've got the kangaroos, the wallabies, the emus, and the rest of the Australian Outback.
Fortunately, there's also 1 small piece of beef jerky still left in my pocket.
There's no time like the present to go into survival mode, and this is a good little score of wire here. Get my multi-tool, cut some of this off, I'm sure. I'll find a use for wire. Always do.
This is how to have a good survival mentality. I try to never miss a chance to better my situation by taking advantage of whatever I can scrounge or collect.
Well, wind's still howling out there. And I'm just gonna huddle in here inside the plane and try and get some sleep through the night. In the morning, I'll head out of here. I gotta make my way to some place that's got more water. Well, it has water, period.
Like my times in the Kalahari and the deserts of Arizona, it's the dry wind that sucks the moisture out of me more than anything else, and it's partnered with the surprising temperature fluctuations.
Everyone always said how hot it could get down in the Australian Outback. No one ever mentioned how cold it could be. You can get up to 47 degrees Celsius here, which is extremely hot, but it can get down to freezing at night, so I'm gonna get out of this plane and see if I can find a better spot to survive. Gotta be a yoga instructor just to get in and out of these things. I'm going to take this rope with me because I know I can probably make use of it out there. Plane should be okay. It's tied down on 3 sides here. It's windy and it's cool. And that means that it's a good time to be hiking across this land, because when it changes and it goes back to being the, the outback that we all hear about, extremely hot and dry, that's not going to be any time to be traveling.
There's no water and no shade where the plane is now, so my only option is to head out to what I hope are greener pastures. In the desert, most dead bodies don't decay very fast. In fact, they last a long time, almost preserved, a constant reminder that there is little to support life out here. I'll need to find water if I expect to make it.
Finding a lot of bones as I walk along. Mostly kangaroo. And the odd emu. Huh. This is a lot of outback. And it's probably only a pinhead compared to what actually exists out here. It's a big area. A lot of flies here. Fortunately, they don't bite. When you come from Canada, if you come to some other place and the flies don't bite, well, hey, that's a bonus. One of those places that's ultimately quite beautiful, at the same time, quite desolate. There's beauty in all nature, that's for sure. No matter how barren it might seem. Everything's dying here. One thing about all these logs and everything down here is that they're a perfect place for king brown snakes. King brown snake bites you, and you've got a couple hours to live. There's a section here with some shade, and I think that I'm gonna stop hiking and call this place my base camp for now. I don't know if there's any water, if I can dig for water or find water. I've got a bit left in my canteen, so we'll see what I can do here. There's an eagle's nest at the top of one of these trees, and that's a good sign, I think. So, good sign for me anyway.
Australia is home to the densest population of poisonous creatures on the entire planet. But don't let that scare you, because in reality they're spread out far and wide on a very big continent. On the other hand, you can sometimes find a shocking amount of poisonous spiders and snakes all clustered into one small territory. These flies are going to be a pain. They don't bite, but they love to go into the corners of your eyes here. You can see that. Up your nose, in your ears. Well, these guys are annoying. This tree is very thorny. It's the Acacia Victoria tree. This little find here is fantastic. There we go. Oh, sweet. The traditional cultures would actually break these branches and come back maybe even a year later, and this gob of acacia sap would be there from the break, would be scarring over, and it is pure sugar. Maybe not pure sugar, but it's got a lot of sugar. Yep. Oh, flies. So it's going to stick to my teeth, but this is a nice little, get out of my eye, boost of sugar, courtesy of the acacia tree. That'll keep me going for a while. It's a good way to get someone to shut up too, because when you chew down on it, it locks your jaw. Your teeth won't open up again. So I'm gonna stop talking for a while here.
Small fare indeed, but... Oh yeah. This is lemongrass. It's not much, but there's little clumps of it all around here. Really nice flavor. And it'll just help to keep putting energy back into me that the sun and the wind are pulling out. Well, out of the very dry and very desolate-looking outback, there seems to be a number of surprises that can nourish the body. This is called tar vine. Good salad green, edible. Roots and all. This is a lucky score. A lot of the ticks around here can make a human pretty sick, so I'm gonna stay more out on the flat here. It's very unlikely that there'll be any ticks here. This is not gonna be a very comfortable night for me. I can see that coming, but I'll do what I can, because you gotta get sleep. If you don't get any sleep, well, you start getting a little psychotic, actually. Nobody wants to have a psychotic episode out here now.
Every move out here that I make to improve my situation and get set up for survival has to be well thought out, calculated, and methodical. Risking injury based on foolish and frantic moves is a huge mistake that in some cases can have fatal consequences.
Well, it's fire time and I've only got one paper match. There you go. If I'm very, very careful, I can split it right down the center, turn it into 2 matches. Okay. See? And then get it down to the end here. It's the tricky part at the end, because you want the match head to actually split off. Okay, there we go. 1 match has now become 2. Woo! Yes, indeed, it worked. Look at that. And that's all it took. Just split the 1 match in 2, and instead of being left with 1 match to survive, I have 2. And I have fire. There's a lot of this around. There's cattle dung and sheep's dung, goat dung, and all of it can go on the fire. It will finally help to get rid of these flies. Just like it does all around the world. Dry cattle dung works real well to get rid of flies, and I have no idea why. It just does. The Aboriginals, or at least some of them, actually believe that if they put a rope around where they're going to sleep at night, that snakes will not go over top of the rope. Now, they go over sticks, they go over stones, so I don't know. And I haven't got a clue whether or not it's actually true, but the reality is I'll take any bit of help I can get. Saved the foam cushion from the airplane, brought it along with me. So I've got a little bit of a pad, otherwise I'm just laying right in the dirt here. Sun's already up. I did get chilled a bit, but as long as I kept the fire going, I was fine through the night, so. I'm gonna get moving now before that sun and the heat starts to kick in, and see if I can find myself a spot with water, because that is what is important now.
There are so many variables that will play into a decision on whether to stay put or go. Certainly no available water makes the decision easy for me this time. But sometimes trying to figure out whether or not I should move on can be perplexing to the point of great frustration. And it's heartbreaking to make the effort to move only to find myself in an even worse location.
Almost empty.
In my case, I always have the added challenge of filming my travels as I walk along, alone.
Well, come to yet another creek bed with any luck at all. This one won't be as dry as the last one. Nothing. Dry, dry, dry. I hear you. It's dry, dry, dry here. You can just see a faint glimmer of water down there, so this creek bed goes for a long ways. Dry as a bone, but eventually you go downhill enough, you come to some water. Whether or not it's drinkable, that's another story.
Even though the water here appears clean, I'm going to boil it first and then let it cool, so I can at least feel safe drinking water with no live pathogens.
I think I even see something down there I can eat. See him down there? If you remember, all rope really is a bunch of fibers twisted together. Separate them. There you go. You can get down to one fiber. Got a little tiny bit of beef sausage there. Beef jerky. Is that they're so hungry most of the time, they'll clamp on to the food, and you can literally just pull them right out of the water and they won't let go. He's got it. He's got it. All right. He knows it's meat, and he's holding on to it. Okay. Now, I don't know if I can do this. I gotta try and pull him up gently, flip him off there. Okay. Hold on to the meat. Come on. Okay. Got him! I got him! I got him! I got him! I got him! Yes! Yeah, baby! That's awesome! Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I cannot wait to eat this guy. Buddy, I'm nicknaming you dinner.
It's pretty amazing how even the slightest of meals, meant for an empty stomach, can lift the spirit when you're trying to survive.
Come on, come on. Yeah. One match, 2 fires. That's the end of my matches, but I've got a good fire going now, so that's what's important. Nice. This patch of green here is called watercress. Now, if I can get in here and gather some, without finding that there's a snake den. All right, that's the stuff. Got a peppery taste to it. Oh, a little bit bitter, but really good for me. And a fantastic find right here on the creek. Okay, buddy. This is your last moments of life, but I am going to enjoy the energy you're going to transfer into me. There you go. Oh, this is going to be sweet. Little freshwater lobster. Pull the legs off. Snap the tail off. That's fantastic. Well, in Canada, they call them crayfish, they call them crawdaddies in the United States, and here they call them yabbies. But either way, tonight, I'm calling it dinner. Oh my gosh, that's good. Oh yeah. I'm catching more of those guys. You can count on it. There's lots of sign of feral sheep. That's old sheep death here. So, no surprise to find dead carcasses here and there. I always thought the pelvic bone of most animals kind of look like a mask.
I should be okay here. I'm underneath a very green, very live tree. There's a couple of dead ones further up, but
With any luck at all, I'll be okay. A little bit chancy, but I just do not feel like being out in the sun. So I'm gonna clear an area here, but this time I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm going to heat up this ground. So by the time I sleep on it, it'll be nice and warm. Kind of the opposite of what I was doing at the other place. Trying to put all the burnable stuff on my bed.
It may not seem like it's needed in the desert, but nights can get much cooler than you expect, and this method will keep the chill out of my bones.
Now, those guys would go nice roasted over the fire. It's about a half a dozen emu up there. I'll go up there, but little chance I'll get close to them. Well, that's the way it is with large game like an emu. It'd be wonderful to catch one of those. Of course, if I had a high-powered rifle, it'd be easy, but just on foot, it's impossible for a human to run down an emu. Best thing would be for me to hope to come upon an emu nest, and even then, they're guarded by the males. Now, their front talons can just rip a nasty gash into you. They can kill people if they get you in the right spot, so you gotta be real careful with emu.
The key to catching big game is generally found in having some serious hunting weapons, a rifle, or at least a good bow and arrow combination. Catching big game by hand, or even traps, is a pipe dream at best, and that can be really disappointing if your expectations for a successful hunt are too high.
All right, the last thing I have to do now is just simply go over and now that the ground's cooled down, I'll just put the greenery on top of it and that bit of foam that I got out of the airplane, roll on top, and I will be toasty warm all night long. It works really well when you do it right. You just got to do it safely, because otherwise you burn yourself. And I did melt the bottom of my shoes.
The morning sun revealed to me a surprise of roosting doves just waiting to become breakfast. That is, as long as my aim is good.
Well, I went for a little walk, and I may have found myself a treat or two. Remember this? That's that wire that I found on the ground on the first night. You can see I've got it bent over there. I know it doesn't look like much, but with any luck at all, there'll be a treat inside this little hole here. You gotta move quick, because the treat that's in there will start to move. Oh yeah! This is called a Witchetty Grub, just a little one. Nice peanutty taste. Sweet deal. This is a more classic example of where you can find a Witchetty Grub. You can see the swelling in the tree. That should indicate that there's a Witchetty Grub in there. Oh, I see him.
Cutting into the cavity that the grub has created won't harm the tree at all. Eventually, it scars over and continues to live without issue.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, sweet. Look at that. Look at the size of that guy. I'm gonna cook him up for breakfast. All right, so he's just gonna straighten out as he heats up. Gets all toasted for me. This is gonna be good. Ooh, he's sizzling. I think that's about all he needs. So, ooh, it's actually hot. So first thing I want to do is pop the head off. Same thing at the back end. I want to pull the bum, because with it comes all the poop and stuff. Wait for it. Oh, Oh, this is going to give me a lot of energy, believe it or not. This is not the kind of creepy crawly that conjures up plate fright where
you got to get it in your mouth and down quick so you can get the nutrients. This is tasty. Oh man, that's good. Well, I will definitely try to find more damp areas further downstream and see if I can get myself some more of those witchetty grubs. If I could have 3 or 4, 5 of those a day, I'd be actually surviving quite well. They're full of nutrients. Oh, that was good. Yeah, that's better than eating them raw. Yeah, sweet. Yeah. The witchetty grub, which is the larva of the ghost moth, used to attract hordes of Aboriginal peoples from all different tribes to come and dine on them as a delicacy.
This is a new one. I'm cooking witchetty grubs over cow manure.
They can take up to 2 years to grow inside the tree.
Oh, that's good.
While my luck is with me, I figure I should go after some more yabbies, too.
I see you. It's coming right to you, big fella. Yeah, you see that hunk of meat? Come on, buddy. She's all yours. Oh, juicy jerky. Well, it's a little guy, but I'll take him if he comes up. Oh, 2 of them fighting for it. Yeah! Got him! That's 1! Yeah! Yeah! Only this time, they're not scorpions. Yes! Yes, indeed! That ought to do it. Excellent. This is what I'm about to enjoy. Look at that. Oh, man, is that good. So this is a good feast. I've had witchetty grub, and I can still find more of them. I hope I'm gonna head further downstream to find a wetter area so I can really load up on a whole mass of witchetty grub if possible, because they will keep me going a long time. The yabbies are fantastic, so I've got a good feast tonight on yabbies, and what I might do is actually build a trap and see if I can have some more yabbies caught that I can actually take with me tomorrow. So the arm of my shirt, tie off one end here, some of that wire that I found. Okay, there we go. And my bait is going to be leftovers from the yabbies.
With the trap left in the water, I can let it work for me. And with luck, it'll be productive enough to get me a meal.
That was some feast, let me tell you. Day full of grubs, witchetty grubs, and yabbies. Feels good. Sacrificed my entire sleeve off my shirt for a trap and got nothing. Well, one thing's for sure. I'm gonna travel today. I don't have any more matches, so I'm gonna have to get a fire going somehow at the other end, and I know how I can do this. Now, instead of doing sort of a traditional fire bundle, I might as well make use of the tin can, some cow dung. Essentially, any of the dung that comes from grass-eating animals, ungulates, hoofed animals, was essentially just packed down grass, and so then it's left to dry and harden, and you have the perfect fire bundle. So I'm gonna get this big patty just smoldering, and
then I'll be able to carry it with me to my next location. Now the problem is, that right now it's super, super windy, and I can blow sparks and blow things, and you can start a brush fire that way, so I've got to be really careful. There we go, that's all I need. Get this cow dung smoking like this. And I've got myself a modern twist on a fire bundle. It's smoking well. Hopefully it'll last the trip.
Amazingly, I've found only 4 grubs in an area a few hundred yards long. There are plenty of yabbies here, but I figure they'll be in every stream in the area. So I've decided to move on to better grub hunting ground. This time, my decision to move may not serve me well at all.
Wind is really blowing strong now. Pot's still smoking fine though. That's good.
I've walked for many miles now, way too far to turn back. So I'll have to survive with whatever I find here.
This is a dry place. I can't walk any farther. Looks like I've come to a spot with some water down there. Doesn't really look like it's flowing as much as the last place, but it's water. I've got to come back for this camera. This area looks like it could be an excellent area for a lot of king brown snakes to live. So I want to get up and out of their way, and I think on these rocks up here with this one nice little sleeping platform is perfect. I can have a fire here, heat reflected off from the rocks, and hopefully be free and clear from the snakes. Of course, there's skeletons up here, so things have died up here, that's for sure.
Smoking cow dung has worked like a charm to carry my fire to this new location.
A couple hours of daylight left. See what happens tomorrow. Oh, that was quick.
Like so many places on the planet, the Aboriginals have told their stories of survival by painting on rock.
Day 5, getting tired. Flies will get to you, the heat gets to you, the sand and the dirt gets to you. And so anything you can do to keep your mind occupied is really important. Even if that means drawing pictures on a rock. The Outback has a lot of moods to it, a lot of colors, a lot of different scenes, all of them worth seeing. You just don't want to have to survive out here, that's all. So bring water. There we go, that's good water. I brought it from the other location. The water here is terrible. Looks like just a cesspool. I'm gonna have to dig for water for sure. And I'm gonna have to try and find some food. There's a lot of heat actually down in this valley, which surprises me. I would have thought there'd be more up top, but I think it's coming off of the rocks, the heat of the day, and keeping it warm down here. I don't even need a jacket on at the moment. So I'm just gonna curl up by the fire here. And tomorrow, see what I can do about finding some food, but especially finding some good clean water. I'm gonna have to dig for it, I'm sure. The birds are noisy tonight. Keep my eye out for snakes tonight, that's for sure. Sun's coming up. Sun's coming up early, which means it's going to be hot soon. So I'm gonna get moving now and spend a couple hours this morning seeing what I can find. I'll worry about digging for water a little later on, but I'm going to go up and down the valley here, see if I can find something I can eat, have a look around, see what I've got to work with. It wasn't too bad last night. It was actually really warm all night long. The good news is it got really windy. Hopefully it'll stay that way. That'll help to keep the flies down and help to keep it from being scorching hot. But if it dies, it's gonna be a hot day, so I better get moving now. I smell something nasty though. Just going up and out of the valley first. Bit of a bird's eye view, but ooh. I see what it is that smells so nasty. Let me go show you. Now that's life and death in the desert. Sheep around here, some are ranched and some are just feral. Same with the goats. And their carcasses, their skeletons, along with kangaroo skeletons, end up everywhere. Stuff just dies and rots, and foxes move in. Whew. That stinks. That's pretty gross. Dead animals in the water. Animal feces and no doubt tons of animal urine all around it and in it, so. This water's not gonna do me any good at all. Not if I wanna actually drink it and live. This would be one of those times where I'd look at the water and say, you know what? I'm opting for dehydration at the moment because I don't wanna drink out of here. Nasty and gnarly. Well, I've still got another day to go here. I've got to find some better water because I'm pretty parched at the moment. When there's this much water around and I can see that there is underground springs feeding it, then there's no reason not to dig for water. The reality is, if I drink this water, I could make myself horribly sick. So, I'm gonna dig. Okay, I'm getting down to the gravel now, which is better. That's the only method that I like to go with if I'm in a situation like this where there's lots of water around, but it's skunky, it's filthy, a lot of animal feces and urine everywhere. Clear that away from the top, dig down a hole, let the water seep in, let it settle and clear, and at least it is the best of whatever water I can get in this area. And then take that and boil it. That should be okay. You know, what people don't realize about things like cryptosporidium or giardia, other pathogens and diseases you can get from bad water, is that you don't have to drink it to get it. You can just splash it in your eyes, get a little bit on your lips or in your ears from washing, and you can become infected. So you've got to be real careful. Well, this whole location here, this is a good find. There's a lot of water around it. It's a terrible place as far as king brown snakes go because there's a lot of hiding spots for them with all that wash up. You can see too how high up the flash floods come. At some spots they're 10 feet high, way above my head here. But with all the water and all this fresh young gum trees there, it's a good spot to go on a witchetty grub hunt. Yet another dead animal. Looks like a little, I guess it's hard to tell, decay, but I think it's a baby kangaroo. There's another one. Oh my goodness. Must have been quite a massive flood that came through. Catch them all off guard like that. All right, I'm gonna leave the big camera here and head in, work around those trees, see if I can find some grubs. No, this is such an active area with so much wildlife here. I'd be surprised if there wasn't a few king brown snakes around. The other problem is it's October, and October is when they come out of hibernation and they are their most aggressive. So, be careful. But I need some food. Nothing. When I was asked what I wanted to do when I grew up, I'm not sure my answer would have been, oh, I don't know, stroll around the Australian Outback, seeing if I can find grubs inside trees that I can eat. Of course, then again, maybe that's exactly what I would have said. Oh boy, I'm going lucky. I thought this place would have yielded a whole bunch of grubs. Not seeing anything. Here's a clear example of a grub that's been and gone. Easily see the sawdust. If you look up, there's the hole. He's already gone, and there's probably a redback spider in that hole. Well, that's really disappointing. That means no food today. Well, since I'm not having any luck at all finding grubs in that patch of gum trees, and I really thought I would find a whole bunch of them because it's all young grub trees, and that's where they like to be, there is something up here that'll help a little bit anyway. This is, well, actually, the only name that I know it by is its nickname, which is the Vicks Vapor Rub tree. Not very romantic, but really nice, healthful tea. That'll help bring me some energy on this day that I struck out trying to get a lot of grubs.
I've made a classic mistake. I thought the grass would be greener on the other side, and now I'm in a place that just reeks of death. The grub hunting is lousy, the water's bad, there's no shade. The flies are worse, and there aren't any yabbies at all here to eat. All the indications should have screamed out at me to stay put at the last location. This is a common problem for lost victims. Getting antsy and moving on when staying put would have been a better plan.
All right, well, at least I'm having some hot tea tonight. That's a bonus. Mostly today, though, was just spent walking up and down this valley, trying to avoid the sun, looking for more wild edibles. Oh my gosh. Didn't even see it. There's a sheep sleeping right out in front of me. I'm not kidding. I'm up here, I'm making noise, and I didn't even know he was there. Well, talk about your edibles. Now, if I had a bow and arrow, or a spear, or a gun, he'd be mine, but I bet you I could walk right up to him and club him. But I'm not gonna do that now, am I? It's all right. I would almost guarantee that sheep is probably the mate to the dead one I found up there. Probably could have snuck up behind him and clubbed him, but better let him go. Would have been a good meal, though. Lamb chops.
The feral sheeps and goats that run wild out here would make great survival food. They'd also be much easier to catch than kangaroos or emus. But either way, what's needed is a good rifle to make even an attempt at hunting them worthwhile.
The sun is just peeking over the horizon. And, man, it actually got pretty cold last night. Kept the fire going well, but it definitely got cold. And I was kind of curled up around it for most of the night. Well, with some good fortune and some good technology, hopefully my safety team will be here soon with the sun on the rise to pick me up. All they have to do is check that GPS coordinate. Should land them right here. And I can go home. That's 7 days in the Australian Outback.
I've used an emergency GPS satellite device to link my location via a tracking signal every 10 minutes onto a web-based map system that my rescue team can log onto back in civilization. It's ingenious, and it enables my rescue team to pinpoint with great accuracy my location and come and get me. They'll check my position online, and they can find me wherever I stand.